Today we're going to talk about what's going on in the crypto world, specifically what's going on with the presidential election. We've got one incumbent who hates crypto, although he is softening up a little bit. Most of the political commentators on TV believe that he is softening up because Donald Trump is so pro-crypto that they're going to make it a one-issue election for a lot of pro-crypto people. Specifically, one of the things that Donald Trump has talked about, he just gave a speech at the Libertarian National Convention in Washington, D.C. just last week. And one of the main things that he talked about was freeing Ross Ulbricht on day number one. Did you see that?
I heard that.
The Silk Road guy.
How do you think that, is that going to go over well?
I don't know of anybody that's not in the government who doesn't want him free. You know, it makes sense that the government and everybody who's trying to stop the drug trade and all that stuff doesn't like him. But there's nobody outside of that that's like, well, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think everybody wants him free. I think he has been pretty unfairly detained. I mean, he's got a life sentence plus 40 years, a whole bunch of stuff. And he just facilitated the marketplace where a lot of stuff was going on. Some of it was illegal. But people like Sam Bankman-Fried, you know, he got a minor jail sentence because Ross Ulbricht went for a life sentence. He's at a maximum penitentiary, like a maximum security jail or prison.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. So he's like in the real deal. He's with the thick guys. And FTX's guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, because he just got a slap on the wrist, basically. He's at a country club prison, and he's got weekends off occasionally, and he can get out early with good behavior, and he's got access to all the comforts. The exact opposite. And he knowingly and maliciously defrauded millions of people, you know what I mean, and stole millions of dollars. This Ross Ulbricht guy, he created the Silk Road, and yes, it was used for illicit purposes, but basically that's opening a mall where drug dealers come and sell their wares, as long as, you know, as well as all the other stores and everybody else doing legal business. But the big thing about it in the crypto world was that was primarily the method of payment because it was harder to trace than traditional fiat payments. So that was one of the early places where your Bitcoin was worth something.
Yeah.
It didn't always carry value outside of the crypto world, but in the Silk Road, that was a place that it actually did.
Do you think he's served 10 years now? He has 2 life sentences plus. Do you think Trump is doing that to appeal to this younger generation, or do you think he's right? Thinks he's like, or does Trump believe that the government just was trying to make an example of him and overdid it? Or
I think probably both. I think there's no denying that it's a political move that doing that, but he also knows that it's a political move that he can make that really won't make anybody mad, because nobody really thinks that this guy, this kid, needs to be serving double life sentences for that. So it's an easy play. But yeah, I think, you know, he's talked about freeing people before, parole, or what's it called? Not paroling.
Probation?
No, pardoning.
Oh.
Donald Trump has talked about pardoning people before, Julian Assange and stuff like that. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised. That reminds me. The one person he didn't pardon that I thought he would have pardoned last time before he left office was Joe Exotic. You remember the Tiger King?
Yes.
They had that whole big thing. They sent that giant wrapped bus to Washington, D.C. It was free Joe Exotic, and Trump didn't pardon that guy, although, you know. Anyways, Ross, I think, is a little bit more of a political piece than Joe Exotic was.
I do have to say, Trump, I wouldn't say he did a 180, but it surely looks like the Democrats are doing a 180. I've got a short little video I'm going to play. I could play on this segment, but what I'm trying to say is it feels like last week it was, if you were in crypto or pushing crypto, it wasn't necessarily favorable as far as politics and stuff like that. Then this week it's done a complete 180. It's like if you're back in crypto as a politician, you are now front running. You are the favorite, I feel like. And both parties got on board real quick. Trump was already doing some stuff, but he's come out loud and proud. And and I almost feel like the Democrats are reacting to that, right? They're like, fuck, we got to get on board. We got all the young vote, except for we're anti-crypto, which has always kind of blown my mind. But they're now trying to make up ground, it feels like.
I think Trump had that moment several years ago because he wasn't always pro-crypto. I think he was more just confused. He, like every other old person, just didn't know what it was. And so he just said, I prefer the American dollar. And he was pretty staunch about that. But after it's been explained to him, then he's even talking about keeping your self-custody and being able to self-custody Bitcoin. A lot of the EU is talking about, well, if you want it, you're going to have to hold it in one of these specific type of banks where they'll keep your keys, not you, which goes against everything that Bitcoin's for. So Trump went from really not understanding and just wanting nothing to do with it to the more he understands and the more he realizes this is what the people want. He's all for it, and he's all for Bitcoin and self-custody, and he's 100% against the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, because he understands, obviously, how quickly that can become weaponized against the modern person. I mean, right now, the government's able to go into Bank of America and shut down accounts if they found out you flew to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. So they know that if the American dollar is turned into a central bank digital currency that you can actually program and you can actually specify what it's to be spent on or what it's not to be spent on, then they can also just turn it off just like that. So he seems to have been advised with quite a bit of information on the current state of the crypto market. And he's, at least politically and at least in the theater, he is pro-Bitcoin, pro-self-custody, and anti-CBDCs, which are all good.
Yeah, they just passed, two bills, right? And it's still got to, it's not official yet. It's still got to go and pass Congress, but they, had a very strong support for this Fit 21 bill that allows you to hold crypto and not, be basically against the government if you've got to let you have your own. What am I trying to say here? Basically, you can hold crypto yourself. It doesn't have to be in an exchange, and so
it doesn't have to be in a KYC wallet.
Right, which is huge. And both parties, for the most part, agreed on it. It was funny. I don't know if you caught some of the back and forth that was going on during this, but this shit is never entertaining. It's been a little bit entertaining here lately to hear these people go, Republicans and Democrats go back and forth.
Well, the general stance of the Democratic Party right now is anti-crypto and anti this. So they were saying if they could get 20 to 30 Democrats to vote on it, then they were going to consider that a win. And 70 of them voted yay on that bill or that proposition, which is a huge win. And that's a whole bunch of Democrats that are kind of not exactly going along the party lines, which is interesting for a lot of reasons, but the political implications that means coming in November, if they're starting to not agree with themselves, it could get really interesting.
Yeah, here's just a little taste of what went on.
Check out this spat from Taylor Greene in AOC.
How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aww.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play, baby.
AOC and Marjorie Taylor. Like, it's getting heated.
Gosh, that's ridiculous. I'm embarrassed that that's the people in charge of making rules and laws for the country. Both
pretty nuts. Well, so kind of moving this along a little bit. I feel like I don't think people have woken up to what this means. These two bills passing and Trump coming on board, and now the Democrats are coming on board. At least they're moving in that direction. Everybody is on board or damn near with crypto now. Like, and we're still only part of the 5% that's even talking about this. But yet it's like, I can't believe like Bitcoin hasn't gone through the roof here over the last couple of days.
Well, and that's what's a little scary about it is when the Democratic Party, especially Joe Biden, the more he starts to ease up and the more stuff starts to, well, we're thinking about this, and if I'm reelected, then I'll consider this. He said the same thing with like paying off student loans last time. That was basically, he ran on, I will cancel all student debt. And then right inside, after he was elected and it was a done deal, he said, actually, Congress has to agree, and they will not agree to cancel student debt. So moving on, and it's just, I worry, both of them, you don't want somebody to just be up there blowing smoke. I don't want Donald Trump or Joe Biden to say, I'm pro crypto, I'm pro this, we're going to do this. And then as soon as they get elected, be like, we're not ready for it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see some like that where it's people from both parties agreeing on it, and Congress, kind of everybody getting together and making some good decisions. That's more comforting than just having Joe Biden or Donald Trump stand up there and say, yeah, I'm pro crypto.
It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's huge to me that we're smack dab in the middle of the election season, and crypto is what's being talked about.
That's true.
It's one of the highlights.
That's true. Yeah, we're months away from the general election, and crypto, it really does seem to be, it's kind of wrapped in with the economy, but it really does seem to be the biggest, and maybe that's because that's what I'm paying attention to, but I can't think of a bigger issue right now besides border security and crypto / the economy. So,
yep, it's
good
happening.
Call.
Yeah, I know. I'm expecting to see some pumping going on here real soon in the market. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the next few months bring, but everybody seems to be getting on board with the blockchain and Bitcoin and some crypto at least.